Hello and welcome to the KYEM Circle. This is your host, Jessa Francis, and I just want to say thank you so much for being here today. And I'd like to take a moment to invite you into the KYEM Circle, a place of sanctuary, of protection, of love. This space is focused on supporting self-discovery and consciousness. It is all about holistic healing, cultivating overall well-being, and a positive and grateful mindset. It is in this space that I hope to help you feel less lost, to help those that are seeking direction find a clear path towards finding purpose, cultivating that gratitude, cultivating self-awareness, achieving balance and confidence in your life. And I just want to say, if you are feeling stuck, if you are feeling uncertain about what it is you truly want in this life, you're not alone. So many of us, almost all of us, have felt or are feeling lost, disconnected, and uncertain about our path. We are living in a world where technology has taken over, and it is really difficult to navigate this world of not just technology, but massive amounts of information, and to be able to process it while still being able to truly tap into our truth. And that is what I want you to do here. And I want to start today's podcast by inviting you to take a breath. So imagine one of your favorite places in the whole world. Just for a moment, relax your shoulders, relax your jaw. Imagine the tension falling away. And if possible, not if you're driving or walking, but if possible, if you could at least lower your gaze or close your eyes and take a deep breath in. And just notice your breath as it flows into your body. And then in your mind's eye, I want you to imagine one of the places that you have had in your life, that you have felt a sense of safety, a sense of comfort. Maybe it's your bed. Maybe it is, like me, your grandmother's house. Maybe it is out in nature or at the beach. Just put yourself in a peaceful, loving place in your mind where you know that you are not judged, that all of the fears and all of the worries and all of the crazy chaos can just slip and fall away. Just let that settle in, because that is exactly where I want you to be for our time together. A place of support and love, of non-judgment, a sanctuary where you can relax, where you can open your mind and your heart to yourself and to the beautiful light and love within you. Go ahead and take one more deep breath in and sigh it out. Now I can truly say welcome. Welcome into the KYEM Circle. Thank you again for being here. And I have a beautiful topic for you today, and one that I hope I can do it justice, because it's something that is really dear to my heart, and a powerful awakening that can come from this topic today. And you may have already seen the title, "An Empty Pitcher Doesn't Pour Milk." And I know that there's a few different ways of saying this, but that is the way that my grandmother talked to me. And this topic came about because I am in the midst of editing my memoirs. And in one of my memoir essays, I was writing about my marriage. And I had been writing about my marriage in an attempt to reconcile the confusion and the worry and the fear that I felt in getting a divorce. And I was going back into my past in a way that was going to allow me more clarity, because that's what I had found and discovered about memoir writing, was that whatever I wrote about, I learned about. And so if there was any confusion, any fear of this feeling of, I didn't trust myself, and I wanted to be able to trust myself. I knew that I could go back into my story and kind of relearn or uncover, the truth of what had happened in my marriage, so that I could feel for sure like, okay, yes, this is the right step for me. And so anyhow, I'm editing this piece again, and I'm finding all of these gaps. I'm finding all of these things that I had left out when I originally wrote it. And I can see now, that I wasn't ready to write that. I wrote what I needed to write at the time. And that's, the beautiful part about all of this is you get to go at your own pace, and it's all truly about giving yourself compassionate support. And so I'm doing that now, but now I'm doing that again, and I'm realizing, okay, I may have not have been ready then, but I'm ready now to unlock these gaps in my story, these places that I didn't want to look really hard at yet. Now I'm there, and I'm like, okay, all right, it's time to do the inner work. It's time to do the reparenting of those parts of my story that, I can wish that they weren't true. I can wish that they weren't part of my story, but they are, right? And they are lessons, and they are something for me to learn from. And instead of being judgmental of myself, I can find compassionate love, and I can find the ability to see myself with loving eyes, and give myself the love and support that I needed at that time, right? And so anyhow, as I'm going into this story and cultivating even more and digging into it, I was writing about this part of my life where my ex-husband now was once again deployed. And when he would leave, I very often, because he was gone for such extended long periods of time, I would gather up my children and I would move in with my grandmother. And she was my KYEM circle. She was my place of sanctuary and safety. She was where I could go and get the support that I needed. She gave me every single day, all 5 love languages. I was just doused with love, and therefore my children were too. And that doesn't mean that I wasn't really going through a hard time. Yes, I was very so grateful for the love and support that she gave me and that I had with her. But at the same time, I was still heartbroken over what was happening in my marriage. I was heartbroken over being left again. I was very, very caught up in these feelings of, who am I? How did I get to this place of such profound, deep loneliness? I had this deep, deep desire for more, for passion, for intimacy, for connection, for, I just, I feel like so many of us feel like this is it. Like there's supposed to be more. And I was in the throes of that. while also being a young mother and a young, basically single mother, right? Raising at that time 2 children solo. I'm very grateful to have had my grandmother, but she was a coddler. She she wasn't exactly helpful when it came to, like, when my son would have these epic tantrums and meltdowns. Like, she just wanted to give him anything and everything he wanted, and I wanted to be able to find a way to discipline him and support him in his growth. And so anyways, all of that's in the memoir, right? But I was drained. I felt empty. I felt so drained. And I remember trying to explain to her, how I felt. And I didn't really know at the time how to express that feeling of just, I'm overwhelmed, and I feel like I can't keep up, and I'm so lonely, and I missed my husband, and all of these things. And I told her, like, I don't know how to help my children. I don't know how to be there for them. And she said, an empty pitcher doesn't pour milk. She's reiterated to me that I needed a way to fill my well. I needed a way to fill my cup. Like, I was drained and couldn't nourish and love my children because I had nothing to give at that point, or that's how I felt. I was lacking the nourishment of myself that I needed to be able to give, to be able to nourish. I needed nourishment myself. And I didn't understand self-love or self-care at that point in my life. I didn't really know. When you talked about self-care, self-love, I thought about going to get a massage or eating some chocolate. I didn't realize the depth of true self-love and self-care, and the discipline it took to nourish yourself, to love yourself, to give to yourself. And I felt incapable of doing that. How I couldn't keep up. How could I, take care of myself when I couldn't take care of them? And everything was just so much, and everything just felt so backwards. And I was in this place of stuckness. And I didn't realize at the time that stuckness was an invitation to discover something deep and meaningful within myself. That it was a chance to do deep self-discovery of what I really wanted. And luckily, however, I did start. I wasn't really conscious aware of it, but I did start. I actually wrote 80,000 words of a fantasy novel right around that time, and then abandoned it. It's still I still have it. I mean, hopefully eventually it'll get finished and published. But I did realize that I needed something to stimulate my mind. I needed something to fill in the gap, of not having that passion and, and that intimacy that I wanted from my love life. But I was so completely and, like, totally focused on, like, getting it from my love life. I knew I wasn't going to be able to get that or have that. So how could I find nourishment? How could I find the ability to feel good about myself, and because my children were young and I was struggling so much as a parent, as this single mother, that I didn't feel good about myself that way. And I needed something to help me feel good about myself, basically. Right? We need something to give ourselves a sense of meaning and purpose. And so what am I getting at today, right? An empty pitcher doesn't pour milk. I had to realize, and it was right around this point in time that I did finally realize that things started clicking, that my prefrontal cortex, I was 25 and my prefrontal cortex finally, fully developed and clicked on, and I was able to start making more rational decisions. And I started doing, I was writing this fantasy novel and reading a lot. I started working at the local YMCA and taking the kids with me. I started doing affirmations. I started telling myself, you are beautiful, you are worthy, you are smart, you are kind, anything to boost my extremely low sense of confidence at that time. And as I'm doing this, I didn't have what I have now. I not saying that in an ungrateful way, because I had a lot, right? I had my family. I was starting to get friends. I had these beautiful, healthy children. My bills were covered. I was fed. There's so many things that I did have. And I will say really quickly right there, so often because our needs are met, all these quote unquote base needs are met, when we feel sad and when we feel, really unhappy, we roll around in guilt for being unhappy. We roll around in this guilt, this shame for, well, how could I possibly be unhappy? I am grateful. I am, and that doesn't help. I will tell you right now, that does not help. That was what kept me in this place of stuckness for a long, long time, was my guilt and my shame. So and just to name that really quickly. But what I didn't have then that I have now, and this is also because, this is back in 2011, 2012. We had phones, and I think we even were we had some social media and different things, but it wasn't to the stage that it is now, right? And yeah, there were some amazing self-help books out there. There was a start of more and more of this ability to access mindset shifts and support, right, for your mental, emotional state. But we're not really, I didn't know at that point in time what even holistic health was, or holistic anything, understanding that mind and body and emotion and all of it was working all together. There was just so much that I didn't know. And now I can look back at these times and I can give myself grace and give myself compassion for not knowing what I didn't know. I can't beat myself up for something that I wasn't aware of at the time, right? And so what I realized now was to fill that pitcher, right? And yes, it's beautiful that I had this incredible woman loving me as much as she did, and my mother and my aunt and different family members that were around me, but they're taking care of their own life, and they're doing their own thing, and unfortunately they have been stuck in their cycles, and the family trauma and pain were all involved in all of this, right? And I didn't, once again, know any of that at the time either. But what I really needed, that I have now, is mentorship. And not just mentorship, it's inspiration. The loneliness I feel, is really more about being uninspired.
Because when we're driven by this incredible sense of inspiration, we're not bored. We're invigorated. And when we, it's not about, we may long for a partner or someone to be around, but it's easier for us to be quote unquote lonely when we're extra inspired, because then we have something to pour ourselves into, and something pouring into us, this inspiration to be inspirational. And that's what mentorship has really, really done for me. Is it has it's not just a book. It's not just a podcast. It's not this person that is not really a person because I haven't interacted with them, this author that's somewhere out in the world, and they wrote this book, and yes, it's inspirational. It's gives me a lot of knowledge. And then the podcasts or the, audiobooks or whatever it was more at that time, for something for me to like listen to and be inspired by. It was not the same as having an actual mentor that you can feel truly, deeply, personally connected to, and therefore less alone. And to see them as an inspiration, they have gotten through this thing that I need to get through. They have found their way forward in a way that, that gives me hope that I can find my way forward. They are the guiding lights. They are the beacons. They are, and even more than that, the flashlight. You're wandering around in the dark and you can't see anything, and you're trying so hard to make your way forward. And then all of a sudden this mentor gives you a flashlight, or is this flashlight that you can, oh my gosh, oh, okay, there I can see, there I can, oh, like, you may still be in this dark place, and you still may be pushing forward and creating your own pathway and your own journey forward that is yours uniquely. But now you have this incredible tool that sheds light and like gives you hope and strength and endurance and inspiration. And, I just think if I had had that kind of mentorship earlier, and we can do all the what ifs, and it's not about getting stuck in the what ifs. If I had only had this, then how far along I would be. Yeah, I can definitely do that. But what I can do right now, what can I do in this seat right now, is I can say thank you to the incredible mentors. Like my teacher, Adi Shakti, she is a constant, beautiful well of inspiration that I can go to, and I can drink from this well and pull from this well so that I can deepen and expand my own well all as much as I want, as often as I need. Constant sourcing, this constant ability to find inspiration and to feel the ability to say, I have it. I am okay. I can do this. I have what it takes. And that is what you need. So if you are feeling drained, if you are feeling just in a pit of loneliness, if you are feeling stuck and you don't know how to move forward, and the thought of having a flashlight in this darkness, mentorship. And it's funny to me, like at this moment, because I honestly did not necessarily think that the word mentorship or even that was going to come up for me when I wanted to speak about this today. I just wanted to be, what I wanted to talk about today was just finding the right inspiration, you know, not just books, but like conversation and the ability to get that deep, powerful growth, you know, to have somebody help you towards your growth edge and say, you can do this. And to have that is just unbelievable. You know, it has completely changed my life. It took me from this snail's pace to feeling like I'm riding a rocket ship. And, you know, I know that I'm going to find more and more mentors in my life, right? And I am a truth seeker. I'm a light seeker. I am, you know, if you think back in the world and you think about the big names, the big philosophers, the doctors, the therapists, what did they all have in common? Curiosity so big that it drove them to dig, to find, to discover, to ask questions. It's curiosity. And that is something that I know I am and will always have and will continue to have. And we are in this age now. You know, it's not what it was 20 or 15 years ago, right? It is now we're at this place where we have all kinds of different people to inspire us, different mentors to choose from. And whether you choose me or someone else, the point is finding the right one for you, right? And so that being said, you know, I was looking to become a yoga teacher. And that's how I found Adi Shakti. I found her because I wanted to become, you know, I wanted this information about yoga. Little did I know that it was going to end up being like her business is called Soul Work. So you dive into the soul and then you dive into the work. So there's like business support, right? She talks about, you know, money. She talks about cultivating and moving and building your business as a yoga teacher while also teaching you about the yoga itself. And there is so much. I was just talking about how incredible it is. I'm in the middle of my 300-hour yoga teacher training right now. And I am I am so stretched with this incredible information, you know, trauma-informed information. I feel like I'm getting a degree in psychology and anatomy, you know, like I could go and be a nurse. Like it's so much information coming at me from, you know, this one well. And to think of all the wells out there, you know, that I can sip from, that I can pull from, that I can nourish and nurture myself. And so that's the thing. How can you fill your cup? If you are feeling drained and your cup is empty, there are always my father would say there's more than one way to skin a cat, right? There are multiple ways to find a nourishment for yourself. So think big. Think about what it is that you want to be in this life. And don't dream small, dream big. Think about what it was that you always wanted. You know, did you always want to be a movie star? Did you always want to be a basketball player? Did you always want to travel the world? Were you inspired by the night sky or by the bugs or whatever it was? And then lean into that. And then find information and find people. Find teachers. And if you're here with me in the KYEM circle right now, I want to tell you, might as well tell you right now, right? What it is this space provides. And what, as of right now in my life, at this stage in my life, what I am offering is the foundation. It is your ability to connect to your foundation and to find your roots, to connect with your roots, to help your roots sink and spread and connect deeper and deeper and deeper and find stability, strength, and safety. Right? This is the sanctuary of protection and love. This is what you want to come back to. This is the space where, you know, so many of us, we build the trunk, we build the branches, we build the tree, you know, and my teacher, Adi Shakti, she talks about deep roots, wide branches. She talks about that a lot. And it resonates so deeply with me because, I mean, I actually named my program, and my program is called Rooted and Reaching. And because we cannot reach, and well, we can reach, but guess what happens when the storm comes and we don't have strong foundation, we don't have those deep roots, you know, we're going to topple right over. So it is within the KYEM circle that is this sanctuary that I have built specifically to help you connect with your roots, to help you establish the foundation that is needed to grow. You know, maybe in the future I will be able to, and I can't say that I can't now, I can with a lot of things, help you build the trunk, help you grow the branches, help you reach for the stars, you know, and with your whole heart, you know, reach out for what it is that you want in this world. But all of my programs, whether you're in the memoir writing program, or whether you are in the membership, it's all about self-awareness, self-discovery, self-study, getting the foundation that you need within yourself, rooted, connected, and stable, right? To feel a sense of security, to feel the ability to be confident in yourself. That is what, this is about, right? Yes, uncovering your true desires, finding your purpose, cultivating the grateful mindset, achieving deep, profound inner peace and balance, boosting your confidence. Yes. But what are the core pillars of the KYEM circle? Self-discovery and self-awareness, helping members uncover their truth, their values and their passions, just to get to that point, to know, right? And then holistic health, right? Supporting you, not just physically, no, not just mentally, no, not just emotionally, not just spiritually, all of it. Supporting physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being in a practice that is going to help your roots grow deep, strong. And then what do we need with all of that but the mindset and the gratitude? So fostering the positive outlook and the deep sense of gratitude that we need to cultivate in order to do any of this work, right? And the only people that are going to stay here with me to 35 minutes into this podcast as I ramble on about my story and how I got here and what all of this means, right, is to be with someone who wants to do this. And what do you need to do to want this? You have to be curious. You have to be seeking inspiration, and it has to be a driving force in your life. Like it is for me. Like I drink from these wells every day. I go to Audie, I go to Joy, I go to the books and the podcasts and the teachings and the mentorship, and I'm constantly seeking more light, more love, more inspiration. I am filling my cup so that it brims. I am deepening and expanding my well. I am pushing my roots deeper and deeper so that I can grow taller and stronger and spread my beautiful big branches out towards the sky, and to create branches that go out wide enough to be able to shelter and provide shade and provide sanctuary and love for as many people as I possibly can. And guess what that brings me? Incredible amounts of love. And it all comes down to that, being of service. I have this beautiful, powerful, strong why. What would it mean for this world to be awakened, to be more self-aware, to do this work? The more people that do this work and are able to show up consciously in their lives, that will make lasting change, that will spread and will ripple out and will support and help the beautification of this world. And if I even help one person and that person helps one person, it is going to be worth it. And I can already very gratefully say that I know I've already done that and more and more and more and more. And I'm just so grateful to even be in this position. But how did I get in this position? Is I got curious. I remain inspired. And I seek more every day. I am a seeker. And so if you are a seeker, you're in the right place. Because I'm grateful to say that after nearly 40 years on this earth, I am, do I know it all? No. But I'm on a search to get it as much as I can. And yeah, I'm very excited and very overjoyed to be the tree that others can come and they can bask in my shade and they can find the nourishment that they need, and it's a beautiful thing. So if you're looking for a foundation, if you are looking to discover and deepen those roots, if you're looking for inspiration that is steady, this, I can say, is a beautiful space to be in. And I would be honored to help you step towards a life of more clarity, of a deep sense of purpose, with a beautiful sense of cultivated self-love and gratitude and compassion, so that your pitcher is not ever dry, so that your cup overflows, and that you can therefore go out and to serve and to support and to love and to nourish your children and all the people in your community. Because the deeper my well, the more you can pull, and the deeper your well, the more others can pull, and that just goes out and out and out and out into the world. And so I think that wraps up everything that I wanted to cover for this podcast. I am happy to say that next week I'm actually going to be introducing a beautiful individual that runs an app called Delightful. It's more of an intoxicated episode, but I will be introducing the beautiful Darren, and she's going to be talking to you about the Delightful app and all that it does for the alcohol-free
side of things. So definitely be sure to listen to that if you're interested in the alcohol-free thing, which, you know, is all a part, just a portion of my journey here. But just go ahead, and once again, I'd like to invite you to take a big, deep breath in and sigh it out. Again, inhale. Exhale. Last time, inhale. Fill the belly and the chest, and then as you exhale, just lengthen it. Feel the shoulders drop. Let the jaw relax. Remember that you are seen, that you are heard, and that you are loved, that you are worthy, you were born worthy. Thank you so much for being here with me inside the KYEM circle. I hope you can take this sense of peace and love and sanctuary and know that it circles around you wherever you go. And that the more you nourish yourself, the fuller your cup is, the bigger the circle goes around and around and around and creates more beauty and more sanctuary and more peace for more people. I wishing you a beautiful and happy day, and I'll see you next week. Namaste.